up guys, EJ here, back with another video, and today it's going to be my DVD update for February 26, 2014. So I've got 10 new movies to show you. Two of them are from the 1970s and the rest are from the 80s. I'm completing my 70s collection and moving on to try and complete my 80s collection, which I'll do soon as well, but this is a big step towards doing that. So some little bit of everything here. Some of these films were hard to get, in fact, but let's get on with the update. So up first I'm going to start with the two 70s films and then go on to the 80s films. So up first I picked up The Jerk from 1979, the 26th, or yeah, the 25th, no, not the 25th, the 26th anniversary edition. Classic comedy starring Steve Martin, of course. Hilarious as this crazy guy who goes from rags to riches, back to rags. Very funny movie. I've seen it lots of times on TV over the years. Yeah, it was his sort of film debut after his success on SNL. Yeah, one of Steve Martin's funniest performances still, The Jerk from '79. Okay, I also picked up Volleyball from 1975, film directed by Norman Jewison. Of course, it was remade in 2002, terrible remake with Chris Klein, which I was not a fan of, but this film set in 2018, which is only 4 years away now. Of course, the future is has been taken over by corporations, and there's no crime, there's no wars, but the only outlet for the masses is this game, this mashup of sort of football, motocross, and hockey. And of course, the film stars James Caan as the star player of this game. The villain is played by John Houseman, and the love interest is played by Maud Adams from James Bond fame, Octopussy and Man with the Golden Gun. Been ages since I've seen this, but it's kind of along the lines of those great 70s sci-fi films like Logan's Run, Westworld, films like that. I've been trying to get this for years, basically. The original Volleyball from 1975. Okay, so those are the two films from the 70s. Now on to the 80s. We got some thrillers in here, lots of thrillers in fact. And up first we have The Big Easy from 1987, starring Dennis Quaid and Ellen Barkin. Really sort of sexy thriller set in New Orleans. Sort of captures the city perfectly, the style and the mood of the city, as this lieutenant is investigating the death of a hoodlum that leads to a bunch of gangland wars, and he gets mixed up with the district attorney, played by Ellen Barkin, who's coming down to investigate corruption in the police department. Really good film. Sort of film my mother likes. A lot of these films in this update are sort of from my mother's old VHS collection that she used to have, and this was one of them, one of her favorites, The Big Easy from '87. Okay, another sort of romantic thriller, more of a thriller, and that is Frantic from 1988, starring Harrison Ford, Betty Buckley, and introducing Emmanuel Seigner. Harrison Ford plays a doctor, goes on vacation to Paris with his wife, and he comes out of the shower one day and she's gone missing. If this film was made today, it would be a film starring Liam Neeson. It's a perfect Liam Neeson vehicle, much like the film he made a couple years ago. I don't even remember the name of it, where his wife goes missing in Berlin, and Diane Kruger plays the cab driver who helps him out. So yeah, it's all about sort of mistaken identity, espionage, that kind of thing, murder, that kind of stuff. Frantic, great film directed by Roman Polanski, starring Harrison Ford. Okay, up next, I'm a huge fan of teen comedies, The Breakfast Club, all those John Hughes films, Weird Science, 16 Candles, but a film that often does not get talked about because honestly it's not very good, even though it has good in the title. And that is Johnny Be Good from 1988, starring Anthony Michael Hall. It's got a really good cast, this movie actually. Uma Thurman, um, Robert Downey Jr., and Paul Gleason, who of course played the principal in The Breakfast Club and a bunch of those John Hughes films. Jennifer Tilly is in this as well. Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall sort of shedding the nerd image in this film. He's like the star quarterback of this high school team, and he gets heavily recruited by these two rival football schools. So it's all about his sort of corruption as far as college recruiting goes of star athletes, and it sort of all goes to his head. Yeah, Anthony Michael Hall, a young Uma Thurman, still looking smoking at a young age, and Robert Downey Jr., who of course appeared in lots of these films back then. Weird Science, I love him in Weird Science. Yeah, so that's Johnny Be Good from 1988. Okay, on to a pair of films, because they go hand in hand, and films I've been wanting forever because I loved these movies when I was a kid. And that is King Solomon's Mines from 1985, and Alan Quatermain and The Lost City of Gold, the sequel from 1987. These two films, of course, star Richard Chamberlain and Sharon Stone. A lot of people said they were sort of Indiana Jones rip-offs, much like sort of after the success of Indiana Jones and films like Romancing the Stone and The Jewel of the Nile. Two great films as well. I love those films. But I loved these movies when I was a kid. Sharon Stone, absolutely gorgeous in these. Very much like the Kate Capshaw character in Temple of Doom. Annoying to most people, but these are really fun movies about the great adventurer Alan Quatermain in the set in the African jungle. They get in lots of trouble. I remember the first one, they end up getting captured by these cannibals and get put in this large cooking pot, and then they rock it back and forth and escape by rolling down the hill in this huge like crock pot. Really fun. Interestingly enough, it's so much a rip-off of Indiana Jones that Jonathan Rhys Davies stars in the first one, and the great James Earl Jones stars in the second one, but he's a badass Zulu warrior in Alan Quatermain and The Lost City of Gold. These are really hard to find, get a hold of. They're like out of print, so I'm really stoked I got these. I got one of them on eBay, and one like a used copy from an Amazon marketplace seller. When I originally ordered King Solomon's Mines, I got it off a website called Rakuten.com. It used to be buy.com, and they sent me this. They sent me King Solomon's Mines from 1937. But the picture on what I ordered was this one, the 1985 version. There's also a 1950 version, which I already have, which is a really good film starring Deborah Kerr and Stuart Granger. But yeah, they sent me the 1937 version with Paul Robeson and Cedric Hardwicke. Yeah, King Solomon's Mines. So I might hold on to this. I'm not sure. It's still in the wrapper. I don't know if you guys can tell. Yeah, the 1937 version of King Solomon's Mines. So now I have all three, 37, 50, and now 85. But the 80s movies were the ones I was really stoked on getting. Okay, up next, really great film and familiar to a lot of people, I'm sure, and that is Manhunter from 1986. Who directed it? Oh, Michael Mann, of course. Yeah, really great film, of course. Remade as Red Dragon after the popularity of The Silence of the Lambs, of course. The great William Peterson, Grissom from CSI. I absolutely love CSI, so it's great to see him in a different role, even though it's sort of the same kind of thing. FBI investigator, of course, investigating, well, what's his name? Francis Dollarhide, played by Tom Noonan, serial killer. And of course he gets the help from Hannibal Lecter. played by the great Brian Cox in this film. Really good. I like this movie a lot more than Red Dragon. Actually, it's probably my second favorite of the Hannibal Lecter, Silence of the Lambs films. Really good, really great performances. And yeah, Michael Mann's a great director. Manhunter is a great film. I'm not a fan of this cover art though. Kind of what comes to the territory when you buy old films like this. You get blindsided by weird cover art. I thought I was getting like the regular old cover art for this film, but they sent me this. So that's Manhunter. Okay, up next. Also from 1987, we have No Way Out, another thriller from the 80s that my mom enjoyed. She used to be a huge Kevin Costner fan. I am too. Kevin Costner, Gene Hackman, Sean Young, about a officer investigating Washington politician who accidentally kills his mistress. Yeah, really good film. Kevin Costner, great performance. Gene Hackman as well. That's No Way Out. Okay, last but not least, film from 1985, sort of in line with the Brat Pack films, but it's, of course, takes place right after college, and that is St. Elmo's Fire, directed by Joel Schumacher. Great cast, of course. Emilio Estevez, Demi Moore, Andrew McCarthy, Judd Nelson, Mare Winningham, a whole host of those great actors. Bob Lowe. Yeah, did I miss anybody? Ali Sheedy, of course. Ali Sheedy, Andy McDowell. Yeah, it's just a great movie about these guys trying to find their way through life after college, sort of the Brat Pack as they move into adulthood. St. Elmo's Fire. Doesn't get talked about much anymore, but yeah, still a good film. Joel Schumacher film. So that is my update. My 10 films from the 1970s and one from the 30s, which I may keep or may not. Haven't really decided yet. So yeah, let me know if you've seen any of these films and what you think of them, as always. And as always, thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll see ya.
Bond. James Bond.